I am Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you insightful programs about things that are happening right here in our community, and today will be no different. Today we're going to introduce you to a program that you may or may not be familiar with, but we're going to learn all about it, the services that they provide, and why they do it. The Tennessee Valley Family Services Incorporated is a local organization for which the executive director is Lynn Caffery, and she joins me on the broadcast today. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Kenny, for having us.
It's good to have you, and you brought with you Suzanne. It's always good when the executive director brings a strong, solid, committed board member with them, because volunteers are the heart of the organization. So, Suzanne, welcome and thank you for being here today.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right. I always like to start at the beginning, and we're talking today about transitional living, something that people may know about. But tell us a little something about the Tennessee Valley Family Services Incorporated.
Well, Tennessee Valley Family Services Incorporated is a program that works with homeless, runaway, at-risk youth, kids that are abused and human trafficked from all over the state of Alabama. We're the only program in Alabama that works with both boys and girls from the ages of 16 to 22 that come from those backgrounds. And we also work with kids that from all over the country. They're just not from here in Alabama. We've had children as far as from Alaska. I've got a young man from Nigeria. So we work with a lot of different diverse groups of kids, the LGBTQ community, different youth that are out there that have no support, that are aging out of the system, DHR and foster care, and that are maybe parents are dead or in prison, and these kids are falling prey to human traffickers and predators on the street. So what we do at Tennessee Valley is I literally do street outreach, go to homeless camps, skateboard parks, anywhere that I can go to get out the information that we're here to help these kids. And we get referrals from all over the state of Alabama.
I was just about to ask you, how do kids come in contact with your agency? And you're saying that you're right out there in the trenches, interacting with people, engaging people, doing some fact-finding perhaps, assessing the circumstances of people's lives. That's pretty gritty work, isn't it?
Yes, sir, but I'm a survivor of homelessness and human trafficking. So I understand it a little deeper than a lot of most people would. So I know what to look for, and then I educate. I do a lot of trainings on education of what our program does and how we can help these kids. We get referrals from foster care system, from the DHR system, from homeless liaisons in the school system, different schools, 211. We also have a network called Safe Place that they can call 1-800-SAFE PLACE, and it's the yellow signs with the open hands, and it says 1-800-SAFE PLACE, and a lot of like Arby's, the Greyhound bus station. So we work a lot with those areas, and that's how kids come to us. And referrals from the kids themselves.
Self-referrals, yeah. Suzanne, I'm always curious when there's a board member who, of course, again, is a volunteer, what attracts them to the work that's being done here? Because you put time and effort into what you're doing to be a part of this board. It's probably more than just symbolism, as is the case with most people who are part of boards. There's something that connects them to that process. What is it that attracted you to this opportunity?
Well, Kenny, it was Lynn. I attended a luncheon and she explained the program that she has been called to give her heart for, and almost instantaneously when it was over, spoke to Lynn about it and asking her how I could get involved with a couple other board members at the same time that are the current board members today. And knowing that Huntsville is a hub, it's really a center for this type of activity. Unfortunately, we think that we are a little isolated, safe place to live, and we are. However, unfortunately for this particular trauma or epidemic, because of our location with Atlanta surrounding us, Nashville, Birmingham, Memphis, we're really the center of the hub. And that's something that needs to be eradicated in this city. It's my hometown.
Sure, and it's something that people would not necessarily be aware of because, like you said, a lot of people see those bigger city centers as places that would attract things like human trafficking, which is a huge problem, a huge situation that's going on in our society today that people certainly want to be more aware of. I just recently attended the National Children's Advocacy Center's annual symposium and sat on a couple of human trafficking workshops and was just blown away by the information that was shared. And in my day-to-day dealing with people, and I really get all over this community, human trafficking is one of those things that people don't seem to talk about a lot, or people don't seem to be aware of, except if they are in that particular social service area. But I think much like most other things, whether we're talking about eradicating poverty, whether we're talking about eradicating homelessness, or we're talking about minimizing intimate partner violence, it should be a broader conversation that's going on. And I wonder, from the work that you're doing, do you think that you're getting the attention of people that need to hear these messages? You said you do education stuff, Lynn. I'm sure you go to different venues and talk to people about the work that's going on. What kind of response are you getting from the community?
Well, we've had a pretty good response in some areas as far as people reaching out and wanting to donate certain items and things like that. As far as getting involved with the kids, volunteers are very hard to find because they fear it getting into their life. And they don't really think that it's going on here. But because of I-565, I-20, I-80, and I-10, and it goes across, those are all major highways. And we are a hub from Atlanta to like Suzanne was saying, from Atlanta, Nashville. And what makes it safe for them to stop here, believe it or not, is because we have a base, a Army base, the arsenal. Most places that have a base are prime targets for human traffickers. And a lot of people do not understand that. When I was being trafficked, Wichita Falls, Texas, right outside of it had a base. And all the truck stops, easy access to the highways, to getting on and getting out, so that in case they are fixing to be arrested or they feel like something is fixing to happen, they can get on the highway and they're gone. And where it takes us 4 to 5 hours to get to Atlanta, it takes a human trafficker maybe 4 or 5 days, because they stop in every little town, every nick and cranny, so that they can sell the youth or the person that they have.
And this is a serious crime. I mean,
Yes.
This is something that leaves scars on people's lives, sometimes results in death. It leaves people extremely exploited, extremely vulnerable, very fragile in many cases, physically, emotionally, and otherwise. I wonder your thoughts about just the whole notion of who the clientele of human traffickers are, because as I understand it, it's not just one kind of person. We may think that it's just this one kind of person, but from what I've read and what I've seen, we're talking about people from all professions, all socioeconomic statuses. I mean, these are the people that are actually participating, in essence, in the process of human trafficking. I wonder what your thoughts are about that.
Well, it's not just one person or one sector of people. It's governors, lawyers, doctors, nurses. It comes from all different backgrounds.
Lots of professional people.
Yes, very. Because of money, Talladega, different sporting events where there's a lot of money, the horse races, there's always going to be, I think this year there was like 100, from what I understand, that were taken down at the Super Bowl. And they were trafficking youth through there because it's a huge money maker.
Yeah, that's always a big one. That's one of the stories I always hear about, how when you have things like the Super Bowl or the Final Fours, which just happened recently, or you have the basketball championships, you have these big money-making professional sporting events, and like you said, with horse racing, auto racing, it's lots of drivers in that process that actually attract those individuals who are actually engaged in human trafficking, and it's something that people need to be aware of.
Yes, and when I was being trafficked, there wasn't programs to help me. I started out in adult basic education. I just recently graduated with my master's, and I'm 53 years old. But there wasn't a program to help me when it was happening, and at that time, nobody ever asked questions. It's important to ask questions. Nobody wondered why I had two Social Security numbers and one birth certificate. Why I was enrolled in school under a name I didn't even have a birth certificate in. There was questions that wasn't asked. And often people forget And they don't want to ask those questions because they don't want to get involved. And these kids are falling through the cracks. And we've taken hundreds, since we opened almost 5 years ago, hundreds of kids off the street. Our program is 18 months to 2 years. They buy a car while they're in the program, they get their insurance, they have chores, they go through therapy, detoxification, because most of the time when they come in, they're strung out. And that's with all of our kids. I had a young man that was going, when Butler was here, that he was going to high school. His father had a heart attack and they moved him to another state, but left the young man here. He was 18, passed out in the middle of the road and from dehydration and hunger. And the school he lays on called me. And we brought him into our program, but he ended up in the hospital. Very easy to be human trafficked if he had been left out there. So we try to combat it before it gets to that point. And lots of times we don't succeed at that. We do get them after they've been trafficked, but we try whenever they're very first put out on the street. If we can get to them then, we can make a bigger dent, and hopefully some laws are going to be passed and changes and administration and stuff up there, so we can get some laws passed about people buying sex. And we have a lot of labor trafficking going on right here in Huntsville.
Yeah. Well, Lynn, you have a very compelling story, and certainly the work that you do for the Tennessee Valley Family Services Incorporated is noble work through the opportunity for young people to have transitional living. We have just minutes left in the broadcast, so we are running out of time, but I know that you've got some opportunities for people to reach out to you to provide some support. Tell people how they could reach out to you, whether it's a website or email, phone number, so that they can find out ways. I know that your 501 is a 501. Of course, you take donations and you have fundraisers from time to time. Tell people how they can reach out to you and get information about those kinds of things.
Well, right now we're at a point of we're trying to get a remodel done and to be able to get our licensure, keep our funding, and to house more youth. And we are approximately $57,000 short of having it completely raised, and for the quote that we were given. And they can reach out to us on Facebook, Tennessee Valley Family Services Incorporated. My phone number is 256-426-0770, or they can call me, or they can email me at lcaffery@comcast.net.
All right, they can get all that information. Of course, Suzanne, you second that, of course, as a board member.
Absolutely.
And people that want to support, they have that opportunity.
There's a great way to, once you get into that information, you could give monthly. And we would really like to see this this last little bit come together to get the house renovation done. It allows Lynn to bring in more children and do more for more in the same location, and a nice, safe, wonderful place to live while they're healing with Lynn.
Children have a right to be safe. That's the bottom line. And when we place the priority on their lives and demonstrate that their lives do matter, then we'll do everything that it takes to make sure that they're safe. And again, the only place in Alabama who's doing this at this level, 16 to 22-year-olds, boys and girls. I mean, you have a comprehensive program that provides a very valuable service to people from all over the nation and even around the world. So this is a very important program. The Tennessee Valley Family Services Incorporated. Lynn Caffery, again, is Executive Director. Thank you for being here with us today and sharing your story.
Thank you, Kenny, for having us and giving us the opportunity to get the word out so the communities will know that we're here, and if they need more kids, they can send the kids to us if they find them.
Absolutely. Suzanne Coleman is a board member with the Tennessee Valley Family Services Incorporated. Thank you for being here with us today.
Appreciate you.
All right. I want to thank you for being a part of our conversation. We hope that you've enjoyed all the information that we shared, as sobering as it may be sometimes. Even in the midst of a cloud of perhaps depression or feeling down about something that's going on in someone's life, and it can never be a good thing if a young person is being exploited, we can find opportunities as a community to come together and make a difference. And I hope that you'll find a way to be able to reach out to this organization so that perhaps you can be the person that makes a difference. We hope that you also will check out our Facebook page, which is Impact with Kenny Anderson, where you can see a video of the show that you just watched, as well as some behind-the-scenes shots of what happens when the camera stops rolling. For Impact, I'm Kenny Anderson. Have a great day.